Hello, and welcome back to Play of the Game, the limited podcast where we actually play the games. I'm Ryan.
Hi, I'm Jason. I think we forgot to introduce ourselves last
We
episode.
did.
That's
That's
fine.
I just realized this. It's okay. I think people know who we are at this point, but we should probably still do it at the beginning of every episode if we remember. And yeah, just for people who are newer to this, the way we typically do this is we will link out to a 17 lands link in the description, and for the entire episode, we are just going to be talking about one single gameplay spot. And this is actually the first guest gameplay spot that we've been sent.
Whoa.
So this was sent to us by Ethan from Lords of Limited. I am friends with him from a while back testing for the Arena Championships that first got me onto the Pro Tour. And we occasionally send each other just thoughts about Limited and that kind of thing. He has been liking the podcast, and he sent us this spot. So, Jason, would you like to break down what we see here? Neither of us actually played in this game, so it might take us a second or two longer to process what's going on.
Yeah, in fact, as we were speaking, I was perusing the board state, and I discovered something that I did not notice in at first glance. So yeah, this one's a little bit tricky. So this is turn 5, 6, something like
It's
that.
turn 6. Yeah.
Turn 6. Okay, we have 5 lands in play: 3 mountains, 1 swamp, and 1 plains. To our opponent's 4 lands in play: 3 islands and 1 mountain. Oh, give me a second to plug in my computer.
No worries.
Sorry about that. Don't want it to die on me. But yeah. Anyways, I assume this is like a best of 1 game, so we don't really know like what's in our opponent's deck. But the board, each player has 4 creatures. This is like somewhat in the mid game. Life totals are somewhat high. We're at 16. The opponent's at 17. The creatures we have are a 2/1 Sourbred Auntie. So it's a 2/1 because it has 2 -1/-1 counters on it. A 1/1 Abigail, the black-white hybrid rare that makes things like have flying first strike and lifelink counters on them. A 1/1 and 2 1/1 goblin tokens. But notably, not one, but both, or not both, I guess. Not one, but 2 of our non-Abigail creatures have Abigail counters on them. So that being our Sourbred Auntie, which is a 2/1, and one of our 2 1/1 Goblin tokens. So in fact, we have 4 power of flying first strike and lifelink in the air. Across our Sourbred Auntie, our Abigail, and our Goblin token, as well as just a Goblin token on the ground.
I also
So,
just found out how this happened. If you check Ethan's graveyard over here, we have a Kirill Attentive First Year, which presumably doubled the Abigail trigger in the
yes.
previous turn.
Yeah, I was scrubbing back in the game. So, like, originally I thought it was just the Goblin token that had the counter. So I'm like, that's kind of strange. Why doesn't the 2/1 also? Why wasn't the 2/1 chosen to get the counters? And little did I know, the answer was yes, it was chosen to get the counters. Both were. But yeah, so that's what our side of the board looks like. We're at 16 again. The opponent's at 17 and also has 4 creatures. An Explosive Prodigy and a Wicker Maw that they played last turn. They played both of those creatures using the Prodigy to kill our Kirill. That's how the evidence got cleaned up. And then they also have a 1/4 Eclipsed Flamekin and a 2/1 Ferocious Spikeling. The 2/1 first strike on your turn changeling, basically. So they haven't actually played anything super impactful this game. It looks like it mostly has been like interaction. I think they played a Tweeze, and they've played these like small dinky-ish creatures. I don't think anything is revealed off of this Flamekin. I assume it found the land, but the logs don't make it seem like anything's revealed. But yeah, they have 3 cards in hand. It's the middle of the game. Life totals are somewhat high. We also have 3 cards in our hand, but our 3 cards, they're quite good. One of them is a liminal hold. That's the O-ring for 4 that also gains 2 life. One of them is a Seer. That's the 2 mana instant speed deal 4. And the third one is the best of them all, Grub's Command. That is the Goblin command from this set at rare. It's 5 mana sorcery. 3 red black. We can cast that because we do have a swamp in play. there are four very useful modes: copying a goblin, killing a creature or artifact, usually just a creature, giving your team +1/+1 in haste, or milling 5 and putting all milled goblins from your graveyard to your hand. You can also target your opponent with like that mode. Like you can have them mill 5 and get
If you're a
goblins.
group hug EDH thing going on, I guess, or if you want to close a game with both players low on library.
Yeah. Mostly, it's very, very funny to mill your opponent out with that. But yeah, basically, largely, it's going to be a nice modal. Often, it's gonna kill a thing, but also it has some like Imnidane's Recruiter vibes. Notably, it will give the goblin it copies haste if you use the copy plus haste mode, which is kind of nice. But yeah, we have so much removal in our hand.
And
No more
so
threats,
few
though.
good targets to use it on, I think is really the
Yes,
interesting
I
part
like
of this
it.
spot.
Yes, like I said, their board is a little on the dinky side. Like, there's nothing that stands out as like, oh, I really want to remove that. Like, I think they surveilled to the top with their 1/3. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe they're on a splash, so like removing the 1/3 could be nice. Maybe they have vivid stuff, so removing like either the 1/3 or the 2/1 could be nice. But like nothing that super jumps out as like this needs to die. Just random things.
Yeah.
And also, none of their creatures can block ours, right? Like, we have 4 power flying and first strike and lifelink in the air. So.
Yeah. So, right, like, they're not really attacking us for much damage that we care about, given that we have so much lifelink that we're swinging with.
Yeah.
We would like to use our mana this turn. It's always nice to use our mana, but it's not really obvious how we should use our mana. Like, this Grubs command is the best card in our hand, but its best mode is killing a creature, presumably, and we don't really have a good target for that. The second best mode is probably like copy a goblin. We have a pretty good target for that, so we might want to use it. And then the rest of our hand is 2 more removal spells. Yeah, we really could. Or we could make like a 4/3 and one other 1/1 by like blighting onto the 1/1 that doesn't have flying and first strike. There's a lot of options. We could also just give the team +1/+1 if we wanted to, and like maybe not even remove a creature, just copy the goblin and give +1/+1 in haste. There's a lot of options, and I think the first thing to really consider is like, are we casting this Grubs command this turn? If we're not, we're probably not casting anything, would be my guess.
We could cast our like liminal hold just to like kind of get in 1 more damage ish. Like we could like kill. So right now they're 1/4 and their 2/1 are tapped. So their blockers are a 1/1 and a 1/3. We could like cast a removal spell on the 1/3 to like incentivize the trade.
Yeah, it's not great. So basically, I think the real decision is between, we'll get to more decisions, but the primary decision that we're making on this turn is between attack for a bunch in the air and do nothing, pass back, leave all removal in hand, and like force them to play something that actually matters before we start removing their stuff, or cast this Grubs command in some way that doesn't maximize its impact, but progresses our board to the point where they really have to do impactful things so that we can then start using our removal spells on it going forward and like pushing through damage, pushing through value, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so okay. One thing I want to mention is we've ignored like the mode of Grubs command, the other proactive mode of Grubs command, which is mill 5, return all the goblins you milled to your hand. I don't think we know. I don't think Ethan sent us like what his deck is, so we don't have a super clear sense of like how many cards that's likely to draw us. I'm gonna assume that the answer is not that many, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Like
it's certainly possible that we have a deck with like 20 goblins in it. I think that's pretty unlikely, given that like we're splashing white at the very least, if not like red, white splashing black or something. Can't really tell. And just I haven't really found that I use that mode on Grubs command very often, because a creature in play is usually worth about 2 in your hand roughly. And like you can always get a guaranteed creature in play if you have a decent goblin to copy, which we do. And so it's very hard for me to justify that mill 5 and maybe you'll draw 2 cards mode over the certain like let's actually create a real creature on board right now without having to spend the mana for it later. Obviously that mode is kind of relevant because it's nice to have access to if you don't have a goblin in play, but like I've played a decent amount with Grub's Command. I usually end up dismissing that mode, and I think it's mostly correct to dismiss.
Okay, fair enough. So, okay. Let's talk about what casting Grub's Command looks like, right?
Yes.
So, one thing I want to note is, so, there's these 3 modes, right? Copy a goblin, kill something, give our team haste. Unfortunately, the thing you would like to do with Grub's Command, kind of, or like the thing that you would like 2 of the modes to have synergy with is, like, obviously you could copy the Sauerbrudd Auntie, which would then make, 3 goblins, right? A 2/1 and 2 1/1s. And you would hope that the haste would also haste the 1/1s if you did that.
It does not.
But because it's a separate trigger, it does not. So, you can't do that, but you can have a hasty 5/4, I guess.
Which is decently nice. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, and we're attacking for, let's say we copy and haste, right? That's the line you're presenting. We would make a 5/4.
That's like the most aggressive line.
We'd make a 5/4. We'd probably blight onto the boring ground 1/1 goblin and just get, turned it into 2 goblins. And we would attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lifelink in the air and 5 on the ground without killing any creatures on the other side. So they could maybe chump the 5 with their 1/1 or something. Take 7, they go to 10. We have more flyers in the air. And we've gained 7 life, so we're at a very comfy life total, especially given that they don't have large creatures on the other side of the board. And we've got a nice 4/3 that at least seems pretty good at attacking into this board going forward. We also have more removal spells in hand. So like we're pushing our board presence very far ahead to the point where they really need to do something highly impactful, I would say, for us to like start to lose. And we have insurance going forward with our removal spells in hand for like them doing something good. So I think there's a lot to this line. In fact, it's the line I'm kind of strongly leaning towards at this point. Can you think of reasons why we wouldn't do that?
Well, okay, so okay, you can like kind of break this down into like trying to figure out how much each of these modes is like really giving you, right?
Yeah,
like
how much equity you're kind of getting from each.
So the +1/+1 haste line is like nice and aggressive, but if you think about it, it like okay, let's say that we take the line of like +1/+1 haste to our team and copy our 2/1, and our copy like makes a like is so we're like attacking with a 5/4 as well, right? They can just choose to chump our 5/4, right?
Mm-hmm.
In which case, it's kind of like we cast kill something, make our creature copy, but like gotten 3 extra damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, because we got the 3 extra damage in the air, but we let them chump with their 1/1 instead of their 1/3, which you could see like mattering a little bit. But what I'm trying to point out is these lines are like more similar than they look on first glance, right? Both the kill something, make a copy line, and the make a copy haste line, right?
Yeah, the haste is basically mostly just damage to their face. And
like
as you're describing, right, it gives them the option of taking another 5 and having us kill none of their creatures, or taking no additional damage besides the 3 and having us kill their 1/1 exactly, which does not seem to matter on this board. So it's mostly like a lava spike is basically that mode is like what it's getting us. The copy mode is nice, right? That's a permanent 4/3 that is going to matter in the game going forward. That one we're probably doing, I would assume. But weighing between the +1/+1 in haste, which makes a nice, really big, fun, good feeling attack this turn, or the destroy a creature, destroy their 1/3, maybe take them off of their splash, maybe take them off of better Vivid enabling, and like don't get in as much damage, but we're kind of making more on-board progress. That is kind of the alternative that might actually be better. So I
Yeah.
think you've convinced me that like kill the 1/3 may be a better mode to choose than pull soldiers 1 in haste, even though attacking with a
Yeah.
5/4 feels
Also,
good.
I will say the 4/3 is kind of nice, but we're wide enough that I might prefer to just like have like an extra body. Like I might prefer to, instead of have like blighting onto our 1/1 and to make 2/1/1s, instead like, so like kill the 1/3, make a copy, and then just have like an extra 2/1 and 2/1/1s, and then attack with our 1/1. Because like we're wide enough and have enough removal at that point where like it's like
Their
kind
only
of,
creature
it's
that
like,
can profitably block our 1/1s on the ground is the 1/4. And if,
yeah.
let's say we draw a land, right, we could remove whatever big creature they played, remove the 1/4, attack with everything, and then they don't have very good blocks at that point. So I see what you're
And I
saying.
will say, one nice thing is that like going wide synergizes well with having flyers chipping away at them. Basically like, because we have a lot of like this like pretty strong like clock in the air, like going wider is nice because going wide is another form of evasion kind of. Whereas like a 5/4 or like a 4/3 on the ground, they could theoretically just like trade with
Yeah,
more
it's
easily,
very true. However, okay, how about this? I have another framework to view this decision through that I believe ends up coming out in favor of making the 4/3, which is we seem to be pretty ahead in this game. Any of these lines we're taking tend towards us winning. We have multiple removal spells in hand still, even if we're casting the Scrubs command on something not super impactful this turn. We've got multiple flyers. We're going to be attacking them down a lot. We're playing against a blue-red deck. One of the strongest cards in the format is the card Ashling's Command, which, if we choose to go wide, is one of the main ways our opponent could come back in this game. So, is it possibly worth it for us to simply attempt to make a 3 toughness creature as much as possible so that we have some equity still in that Ashling's Command situation?
I mean, to be fair, if they have Ashling's Command, they can copy their explosive prodigy to finish.
This is true. That is a good point, and one I didn't consider, and pretty relevant.
I might be a little bit in the camp, I'm not sure we can beat Ashling's Command.
This is pretty fair.
Are
there any other
like,
cards that like are comeback tools for them, right? Because basically what I'm trying to say is that like when you're in a strong enough position like this where the game is certainly not over, people are going to cast multiple spells before this game ends, right? But like unless those spells are very highly impactful in favor of your opponent, the game is trending in a direction that you are going to win. So
yeah, so okay.
Thinking about like what they could actually do that we would be scared of, maybe we can try to kind of proactively play around it, either by pressuring their life total or making some board presence that we can leverage better going forward.
Yeah, so the biggest worry I would have, so okay, obviously Ashling's Command, but I'm kind of in the, like I said, I'm kind of in the mood of I don't think we're ever beating Ashling's Command, like
given the shape of our board and
yeah, like maybe it's like maybe if they have like Ashling's Command and nothing, like fully nothing else in hand, like we could like maybe win a long game, or like maybe if the Ashling's Command comes not next turn but like the turn after that or something, when we've gotten them low, and then like we could maybe draw some nice stuff. But like overall, I'm not too concerned with trying to beat the card Ashling's Command because it is so bad for us. I just like kind of want to assume they don't have it, because we don't really have any excellent ways of playing around it either.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
Other than like pressuring them, trying to kill them. So the other card I'd be thinking about here is like, okay, well, what's our strength right now? One of our main strengths right now is we have a lot of removal and we have this like nice clock in the air. The scariest thing that they could do to me in my opinion is play something that like reduces our, like just play interactive spells that efficiently reduce our clock while like and like just play like maybe like value weak creatures that like our removal doesn't line up super well against. Just like creatures that will randomly outclass our like 2/2s and 1/1s without like being all that like bad for them if we remove it, right? Like they could play like a Chitinous Graspling here and theoretically feel good about it because it blocks our entire board, but then we just remove it, so we don't care about that. But it would be scarier for, in my opinion, if they played like, let's say, a random 2-mana 1/3 that draws a card when it dies, even though that card's kind of bad, and then a Boulder Dash to kill 2 of our flyers.
That's
Like,
reasonable.
I think the scariest reasonable card here is Boulder Dash in my
Yeah,
eyes.
I think that's right. I was actually struggling to think of a card that is scary. That's why I went to Ashling's Command, because it was the one like sweeper in red that could actually get us. But Boulder Dash is sort of a pseudo sweeper because it leaves us with exactly 1 power of flying on the board, which is really not enough to like win.
And then after
clock
that,
them.
like the thing I'd worry about this hand is that we don't have enough threat. Given that, I kind of do like the 4/3 line more then, because like if we're framing this as like we're ahead, what are we most worried of? Well, then I'm worried about like our stuff being answered, like like our small number of threats being answered and not having like not having anything to like close out the game after that, and then we just like flood a little, or like they just have some impactful cards that like maybe they cast like a card draw spell and then our removal spells don't like keep up.
It is, I will say, it is a little bit interesting that they chose to kill Kirol, the doubler of triggered abilities, instead of one of our flyers. Now, like, the card had just kind of done its thing and blown them out, and if you're playing on Arena, it's possible that, like, your opponent just gonna kill the thing that just did the cool thing that was good. But it might, if you're playing against a stronger player, indicate that like they're not that worried about the 4 power of flying in the air clock because they have some way to answer that in the long game. Maybe that is like a 3/5 or something that they're playing and we're planning on removing, but it's notable that they didn't kill the 3/3 ground creature, even though technically we have a liminal hold in our hand and it's great with that card, but like they don't know about that. So that they have made like a posturing decision that indicates that they might have a way to deal with our flying clock, but not guaranteed by any means.
Yeah, so all of this is making me lean towards I want to like, so okay, again, just framing this as like the thing I'm most scared of is the card Boulder Dash. I want to like cast this Grubs command so I can copy our Sourbright Auntie before the card Boulder Dash has time to exist and interfere with that plan. And on that note, I kind of want to kill their 1/3 instead of like.
I think giving them access to more colors also just gives them more ways to come back in the game, right? Like there could just be cards that we're not thinking of because they're not in blue or red that they could have. I'm not like Darkness Descends. I don't know. Maybe they go Swamp Darkness Descends, right? And that could be bad for us. Obviously, that's kind of unrealistic, but
2-mana 2/1, I find it a little unlikely that they're like
true.
Actually,
I'm just saying like more colors open up more possibilities that could be scary. Is all.
Yeah, to me it's more about like we're gonna have 2 1/1s. I just want to make it less likely that our creatures get outclassed if they have some way to like answer our flyers.
Yeah,
and I think
fair.
that's worth more than the like 3 extra damage. Like the difference between smacking them for 4 and smacking them for 7, I think is not obviously worth the difference in like not obviously worth to me the difference in how much like their 1/3 versus their 1/1, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like that amount of damage does certainly matter if you have a flying clock of this shape where like getting them low if you're going wide in the air does end up mattering a lot in late game. So that is all to say like it's not trivial to not deal them extra damage when we have the opportunity to do that, but I do think I agree that like the 1/3 actually being real board presence and us having a wide board, being able to kill it, taking them off of potential fixing, etc. Like there's just enough reasons why I think I care about the creature, getting the right creature off the board more than the damage, that I think you are right that we just want to use the destroy mode.
Yeah, like it feels kind of bad to like use a removal spell on the 1/3, but my worry is that our position is one where like it will in fact be relevant. Like we might just use a removal spell on the 1/3 down the line anyways.
Right.
So.
And you certainly want to avoid stranding a bunch of removal in hand that you end up using on the creatures you were thinking about removing anyway, because if you remove it earlier, you were getting actual like material advantage on the board from that creature not having been around for that entire time. Like, we're getting more attacks this turn. We kill this 1/3. We get to attack with just our plain old 1/1 on the ground. That actually matters. That's something that we didn't address, right?
Not really. Not really. We don't really get to do that because we're probably going to blight onto that 1/1 to make two more 1/1s.
This is fair. Yeah, because we're ranking a 4/3. Okay, good point. Good point considered. So yeah, I think all in all, that's where I land. I would like to cast Grub's Command, not anything else, not using our mana, just cast our Grub's Command, and I would like to copy our 2/1, intend to make a 4/3, blight onto the plain 1/1, make 2 more 1/1s on the ground, and destroy the 1/3. Any other layers of nuance? Any other things that we are not considering?
So, I do know of a thing we're not considering, but only because I cheated a little and looked forward. I think it would be more interesting to, like, scroll forward and see what actually happens.
Okay, let's look. Yeah, I actually have not gone forward into this game and seen what happens. So Ethan goes to combat, attacks for 4 in the air, and then passes the turn without playing Grub's Command. Opponent untaps. Sorry. Plays their 5th land. I'm going to take a drink of water just so I can narrate this. Attacks with everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not blocking very well, right?
This is true. Yeah, it makes sense. We seem to not block at all. We take 5, go down to 15. They play a Squawk Roaster. We untap. Oh no, we sear it on their end step, it looks like. We untap. We 2 modes this Grub's Command. I believe there aren't single red instants in the format that can blow us out here. So we do this.
There are no single red instants. They technically could have a single blue or black or any color instant, but
I see. Okay.
Blows us out.
So the line Ethan took ended up winning him the game a lot quicker, maybe, than the lines we were proposing. The opponent attacked with everything. We got to kill a creature on end step and then smack them for a bunch because they didn't leave back any blockers.
Yeah, the Grub's Command was almost exactly lethal.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was definitely interesting. Where I saw this and I was immediately like, huh. So there is definitely a lot of merit to just passing and holding up removal because, well, okay, the opponent's actually pretty likely to attack with everything, right? Like,
again, they're not blocking.
Like, if you have mostly a flying clock and you like haven't played anything, right? Like, what's the opponent gonna do? They could leave back like a 1/3 to like block your 1/1, right? But basically, one thought you could have here is, well, if they just do exactly what they did, which is attack with everything, and then like play a blocker that dies to sear, then you do just have lethal.
This is
and in
true.
fact, them attacking with everything just does make your Grub's Command going like copy haste like better later. And I did. I'm a little sad that I cheated and looked forward because it would have been more interesting I think to think about this more organically. But my reasoning for why I still kind of like our line better, though, like I don't. Again, many of these things not always super clear. Like there's not always there's often not going to be like a super clear right choice. It's often going to be like degrees of what. Like hard to tell. We don't have stockfish, you know. But I'm just still more. I'm worried that this line is good into the opponent making plays that would have lost anyways. Right, like where if you imagine our line where we like kill something, make a copy of something, and then they just go
play
their
Squawk Roaster.
Their random Squawk Roaster. We just remove it and attack them anyways, and like we're still winning that game.
Yes. And I think this line is maybe notably worse into something like Boulder Dash pass holding up a cancel or like a tweeze or something like that.
Or just Boulder Dash plus random like, I don't know, Eclipsed Flamekin.
Yeah, I mean we still have the air clock in that way, and we can still like play our Grub's Command,
not if
right?
they cast Boulder Dash.
Oh, sure. I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah, it makes casting the command a lot less impactful and safe. Like casting it on the turn that we were considering casting it, we have a full window to use it for like the max board presence on our side, which is actually the more important part of the card. in this game, since we have the other removal spells to deal
Yeah.
with big stuff. So yeah, interesting spot. Very interesting. Thanks, Ethan, for sending it to us. Congrats on winning this game. I don't know what the stakes here were. Was this a... you can let us know. Was it an arena direct? Was it a qualifier weekend? Was it a random draft? Was it early access? Who knows? But congrats on the win. And yeah, you can get in touch with us, I guess. I'm at r-condon.bsky.social, and I have a Patreon you can subscribe to for strategy content. That is Ryan C MTG. And Jason?
You could find me at JasonILTG in various places. I might also start writing some stuff again on my website at experimentalsynthesizer.blog, but we'll see. I finally fixed my CSS, which is nice.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Anything you write is really good content. So once you actually do, we will certainly direct the people there. All right. Thanks for listening, and until next time, go make some good plays.